Hello, and we are back at Mill Ridge for the back nine of the FPO chase card of the 2021 Music City Open presented by Dynamic Discs. Round 3 at Mill Ridge. It's the PDGA National Tour finale. I am Sarah Sinclair. I am joined by Leah Tsinajinnie. We're excited to bring you the back nine, see how these women can attack, and our coverage sponsor is Infinite Discs. Thank you so much. We saw some exciting stuff from the front nine. We've got Natalie Ryan. She is a bomber if you watch the front nine. Catrina Allen. She's got all the shots in her bag to attack this course. Macie Walker. She is in the lead going into the back nine on this card. And Heather Young, she's got some great lefty power, backhand and forehand, so it's been fun watching her attack those lefty gaps. So going into the back nine, we've got Natalie at 4 down, Catrina at 5 down, Macie at 8 down, and Heather at even par. So we're going to start off with hole 10. This is not a triple mando, even though it may look like it. This is an extremely difficult 243 feet par 3. If you've got a kind of a flexy forehand, that may be a way to get to the basket. The backhand turnover shot for a righty is extremely difficult unless you put it really high up there in that gap. But I feel like you're going to see mostly forehands coming from the right-handed players. Catrina put it a little bit short on the corner of the woods there, but she'll have a putt.
Macie puts a little bit too straight, so it hits the rough. She stays outside of it, though, thankfully.
Great shot from Natalie. And this is the lefty love I was talking about. Hopefully she can capitalize. Oh my gosh, she did.
And that was a tricky shot for sure. That line, most of the time it's going to land at the edge of the circle, and for her to get all the way to the pin on it is really great.
Thank you.
Catrina puts her birdie look a little bit high. There we go. Great putt by Natalie. And let's get that Ace Run Pro run back. She fully commits to her putt, even with the rough there, and it doesn't lose any speed going towards the basket. This is Catrina with her comeback putt for par. Solid putt. And we finally get to Heather's beautiful drive. She taps in her birdie, and Macie will be tapping in for her par. Most of the FPO is going to want to birdie that hole, and Heather and Natalie do just that. This is hole 11. 11 is a tricky par 4. It's only 560 feet, but the first shot is a little bit touchy. You got to get it right around here, and then you're going to hit a small gap. It's only about 10 to 15 feet wide, and your approach to the green, if it gets in the rough, it's going to be hard to scramble for that par.
Hole 11 actually came in as the second most difficult hole, and I know why. It's just a lot of twists and turns that you have to make to get down to the basket. But hopefully we'll see some birdies and pars out of this card.
This wide tree through the gap is very distracting. You want to make sure you don't hit it so that you get out of the gap on your first shot. There is a left side fairway that plays more open. So if Catrina's fades left, like it looks like it's gonna... Oh, she puts it long, so it's in the rough. But there is a play that way if she had faded left. Macie also looked like it might get too long. She could be slightly pinched or have an open shot.
There is a fun course feature on this hole as well, is the protected cactus that you do not want to land in or around.
Those signs were cute. I liked the little illustration.
Yes. Oh, Natalie's going to be trapped over there on the left side without really a real look to the basket. Looks like Macie's going right side here, or left side here.
Yes, she's got a bomber forehand, so she's trying to flex it around the left side because of her landing, or where she landed, and it might have landed in the rough. So we'll see where her third shot ends up. Even though Catrina had to pitch out, she can still save her par from there.
Keep going. Oh, luckily she kicks out to the edge.
This is the left side that Macie took as well. She's going to have to throw a high hyzer to get it to glide to the basket. And she does that picture perfect. She'll take an easy par from there.
Turn. At least she can see the basket from the right side.
Am I good? Yeah.
The patent pending shot can be a little sketchy at times. She punches through. Hopefully she'll have a good look.
This is Heather throwing her third shot from circle 2. Gives it a good bid. She'll tap in for her 4.
Yeah.
Not able to connect on that step putt either.
She was putting from the edge of circle 1 and unfortunately misses that putt. And Heather takes a bogey too. I forgot about that extra stroke she had. Unfortunately, Natalie is tapping in for her double bogey after some pinch spots behind the rough, and Catrina saves her par.
Par is good on that hole, I would say.
Yes, that played as the second most difficult hole, like you said, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and you can see why after the struggles.
Hole 12 is quite refreshing after you've been forced to throw through tiny gaps in the woods right off of the tee. You do have a tiny gap about, I would say 150 feet up the fairway on this 305-foot hole. It's definitely birdieable, but you've got to get through that wall of trees first.
A clean drive here will get you a good look at birdie. There is opportunity to go over the top, but it's unlikely to see.
She snuck through the bottom of the basket. That was amazing.
Wow. Macie throwing another beautiful tee shot.
Wow.
And she matches Catrina perfectly. That's 2 parked for birdie.
Ooh, she let it drift a little bit left, and that looks perfect as well.
3 great tee shots. Natalie takes a higher line, and she'll be close to circle 1 and maybe have a putt if she's out of the rough. Unfortunately not. Here's Heather for the longest look at birdie with her 20-foot putt. And we'll have Macie and Catrina tap in for their birdie. 3 for 4 on this hole is great. You definitely want to birdie this hole going into the back 9 because there's some tough ones coming up. Natalie talking about her left-hand putting. So we have Catrina, Macie, and Heather carding the birdies, and Natalie with an easy 3. Hole 13, it's 277 feet, par 3. This is a fun shot. It plays a little bit uphill. You're teeing off from behind the tree line, so you want to make sure you understand what the wind is doing when you throw your tee shot. It could be a headwind or a crosswind, and you want to get it high enough so that it gets into the green. Got to get a little bit lucky to hit through a gap in those trees.
Well, Kat lets it go a little bit early. This is the mistake that you don't want to make because you really don't have a shot through those trees on the left. If you are able to make it to the bottom of the rocks here, then you do have a putt. Oh, that actually looks pretty perfect. Another great lefty hole. She can just hyzer it in there low. She's got a putt.
Natalie's looks like it's turning perfectly, but unfortunately it does not get through that last set of trees. She'll be putting from circle 2. And this is what Sarah is talking about. There's no real way to get through this rough. If she can get lucky, it looks like it fights to the edge, but I don't think she'll have a putt for her 3 there.
I'm hoping one of these women can capitalize on the 2.
Oh, so close. She does have a straddle putt look, so let's see if she can save her par. And you can't tell, but that is an uphill putt, so it is tricky.
Macie with the best look. Hopefully she can get it. Woo! Nice.
Wow, that's 2 birdies in a row for Macie. She's now 6 down on the round. Natalie and Heather get their pars, and Catrina with a bogey, and Macie with the back-to-back birdies to put her at 6 down. If you haven't heard of Macie yet, she's formerly Macie Walker. She's playing so good.
Hole 14, another tunnel shot. And it's also pretty uphill the entire way. So the initial shot you want to get to about here. And then you have all the room in the world on the left in order to set you up for either the par 4 or if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, throwing right at the basket on your second shot. There is a little bit of OB behind the basket in front of a little pond, but I don't suspect that many people will be pushing the basket that aggressively, and we'll put that into play.
Macie throws a perfect tee shot around this little rough in the middle of the gap, and she'll have a good second shot. Heather, a little bit shorter, but similar line.
I can get a good skip. Wow. She's on the edge, but she'll still have a look for a big turnover shot to the basket or a big flick. And this looks like exactly what you want to do.
Those are great tee shots. Heather up first, and she's opting for the hyzer backhand. It looks like she pulls it out wide enough, and she gets into the edge of the rough for her third shot. Macie doesn't put quite enough distance on it. She'll be putting from circle 2 for her birdie.
A little bit short, but hopefully she can make that putt.
It's a pretty blind shot, so as you see, all three players were a little bit short on their approach. Natalie was a little pinched, so she can get hers into circle 2 from where she was.
Little half run from Heather.
Good attempt, a little bit tricky. Catrina misses from circle 1, and she'll have about a 15 to 20 foot comebacker. She sneaks it in there to save her par. Everyone else is tapping out for their 4, so we have a par frame here. And they're longtime friends. They're both from Tennessee. I'm sure they have a lot of rapport. This is hole 15. It's a par 4, 529 feet. It's an uphill shot on your drive, and you're trying to get right to the mouth of this gap so that you can have a cleaner second shot. It's in the open field on the second shot, so you're trying to just get yourself anywhere in circle 1 or circle 2 to give yourself a shot at birdie 3. This tee shot plays about 250 uphill, so you're just trying to get it up to the top. Unfortunately, if you land left or right of the gap, you're going to be pinched and most likely have to pitch.
I feel like most women are just hyzering up to the top, placement only, not actually gunning for the gap.
Heather does not get enough turn on her backhand, so she'll be in a similar spot to Macie.
Oh, and there's also this over-the-top play, if you have enough distance, which Natalie does. That was amazing.
That is a not likely shot for the FPO, and it's really cool to see that. That's more likely the MPO play.
Catrina with a slower disc, just simply putting it perfectly in the mouth.
She lands on the left side of the gap. That's going to be a little pinched, but she's just going to be throwing into the open field.
Looks like Heather actually has a little bit of a look. able to make some headway at least.
She lands about 100 feet from the pin.
Macie puts it close. That was awesome.
Because Catrina is a little bit pinched on the left side, she's throwing this full turnover forehand shot. She gets a little bit too much angle on it, so hopefully it doesn't cut roll. She lands in circle 2. And here's Natalie with her awesome tee shot over the top. She's got a hyzer look. It's to an open pin and an open field, so it's kind of hard to aim at it. So she'll land on the back side of the green in circle 2.
Great finesse from Heather.
This is Catrina from circle 2 for her birdie look. Gives it a good bid. Misses just right. And I know Natalie likely wanting to birdie that hole after that great tee shot, so a little bit disappointed with her long putt.
That was a great par save from Heather after not so great tee shot being pinched, but she was able to capitalize on that second shot for sure.
Natalie gets in with her par. And looks like we'll have a par frame again here. Back-to-back par on this hole, 14 and 15 is a good... even through these two holes is good because a lot of players are playing over par on hole 15. Macie's still with a great round. She's at 6 down. And we have Catrina at 1 down, Natalie at 2 over, and Heather at 3 over.
Hole 16, it's not too far. It's 331 feet. We can all reach it, but it is an interesting gap. You've got to hit the initial gap and then possibly slide under those branches with the backhand. I think the preferred shot is a flex forehand, but the right to left slope and it's downhill makes it pretty challenging and kind of forces you to throw low like we see Macie do right here. There's lots of room on the left side though, so if you can just get something out there and let it fade in, you're going to be perfect.
Heather not quite getting enough air or turn on it. She'll be throwing from behind that tree.
And that was the shot, but just wrong angle of approach.
Catrina is opting for the backhand line, so she'll be trying to flip up something on the left side. It's a good shot, but it's a little low. She'll be on the open. So both Heather and Natalie will be throwing from around this tree. It's definitely a tricky green to throw to. It's got a slope behind it. And as you can see, it went a little bit long.
Settle down. Perfect. Oh, Natalie's got to get real tricky with this shot. Fortunately does not get through.
She was too pinched on the right side there, so she's doing a little bit of scrambling that you don't normally see, unfortunately. And she gets up into circle 1. She'll be putting for her bogey. Macie is in circle 2. That's a putt she can make, but because of the downslope, she opts to lay up.
Almost made the par save.
So close. And you can't tell, but that is an uphill putt like we were talking about. Natalie and Heather will both be getting a bogey. This is not a hole you want to bogey on these last 3 holes because we're coming into a really tough 17 and 18. Catrina and Macie will get their par. Catrina and Macie are staying steady.
Me and my brother and my dad were out there for hours just playing disc golf, having fun.
That's like one of the first things we usually say. It's a great family sport.
We got to do it as a family.
It builds relationship. Like, I know my dad so much better because of disc golf.
It's nice that that's something that we can connect and go do together.
My parents are 100% behind it. Bad rounds, good rounds, doesn't matter. They always have a smile on their face.
We don't call it sacrifice, we call it fun.
Get out there and have fun. At the end of the day, most important is have fun.
This is hole 17. It's a par 4, 644 feet. This is tricky because there's OB along the right side, the whole length of the fairway, and really rough on the left side. You're gonna wanna throw either hyzer shots or low straight shots to keep it on the fairway. The tee shot is gonna ask to throw through this gap or a big hyzer around it. Because Macie's got a lot of distance, she's throwing the hyzer route, and I suspect Catrina and Natalie will be as well.
I think the hardest part about this hole is the right to left slope that makes your disc want to hyzer into the rough. So that's why a lot of people are opting for this over the OB shot, even though it does look a little scary. But this sets up perfectly for Heather's just backhand hyzer flip. Oh, challenges the OB a little bit, but it looks like she's safe. The tough part about the shot around the bush on the right is that if you don't make it, then you're taking your disc back behind this bush. Oh, luckily Natalie sneaks through.
She finds a secret gap that no one else knows about. Heather is so good at just throwing her stock hyzer, stock straight shots. She keeps it in the fairway.
This is an extremely touchy second shot. Just trusting a disc on a hyzer flip, not to go into that rough. There's actually a pretty big drop off down there. Can be difficult to find your disc and definitely difficult to throw out of there.
Natalie is a little bit pinched, so she's trying to throw a flex shot. It's a little bit high, and it fortunately stays just at the edge of the rough.
I like this play from Catrina, just pulling out a slower disc. Oh, looks like the tree worked her. When you throw a slower disc on a slope like this, it's just managing the angles a little bit better, making sure that you're not hyzering out or skipping. And just hopefully it will hold the line.
Great.
Just like that.
Yeah, great disc selection to keep it low and not have much fade. Heather pitches up. She'll likely take a par.
There is also the OB line near the basket going through the woods on the right, so it can be difficult to get up there for a putt and keep it in bounds as well.
Macie was close to the pin after her second shot, but she is laying up. She's a little bit tricky.
Wow, that is a great 3.
So hole 17 played as the second most difficult hole, tied with, I think, hole 8. And only Catrina and Lindsay Fish were the two FPO to birdie this hole. So congrats, Catrina and Lindsay. Natalie, Macie, and Heather will be taking a par. Because this place is the second most difficult hole, par is great. Macie gets back to 6 down. Catrina's at 2 down on the round. And Natalie and Heather are at 3 and 4 over.
And now we're heading into the most difficult hole on the course, which is hole 18. It's only 309 feet, but you've got to throw kind of through a tunnel and over this water. It looks like an island, but it is not. As long as you make it within the circle on your shot, you're fine, but you can lay up over to the right side, which I presume we'll see a couple of women do. But not Catrina, she's going for it.
Yeah, I imagine Natalie will as well. Probably not Heather, and Macie's having such a great round, you know, it could go either way. She might want to lay up to keep her 6 under.
The camera angle does not do this hole justice at all. It's actually slightly uphill, and to be aggressive on this shot, you need to throw the disc higher than you think and let it fade in. It plays longer than 309 feet.
Yes, it's a bomb shot. You can go through the gap. I know the max distance throwers can take a big hyzer around. I saw that on my card. But that's like a 400-inch foot shot, honestly. Going straight to the pin like Natalie's doing is what most FPO are going to do if they're going for the green.
Oh, she puts it in a little bit left. Doesn't make it over.
It was a little low. She's going to have to be throwing from where Catrina is, since they both went out of bounds and didn't cross into the green. I had the same shot, and I bushnelled it right at 230. So that's well within Catrina's
Repertoire.
Yes, thank you.
I got you.
Appreciate you.
Words are hard sometimes.
Natalie's throwing a similar shot since she went OB2, and it lands high on the green.
Ooh.
That's going to be a scary putt. She's from the edge of circle 1 downhill.
So this was a great layup play for Heather. Still a very touchy shot over there, over those trees. And then Macie's got this gap.
I think Heather landed OB on her drive. So that was her throwing 3. And Macie might have as well. I think she actually landed in bounds. Never mind. So she's putting for par right now. It's in circle 2 and it's uphill. So this is a tricky putt.
I was hoping one of those step putts would connect on the last hole. She shows her frustration, but at this point, I mean, she's double digits under par for the event and in a really great position.
Hole 18 played as the first most difficult hole, and you can see why. Even though Heather and Macie both opted to lay up, they still bogeyed. Oh, I'm sorry, Heather got a par, so she did not go out of bounds.
Wow, that is a great putt.
That was a good putt.
With spectators and the water behind, you need a lot of focus to make that putt connect.
Great bogey save by Natalie. Macie takes the unfortunate bogey, but she is still 5 down on the round. And Catrina takes a bogey, and she finishes at 1 down. Anything under par on this course right now is playing really good. Macie ties with Haley King for the hot round. She moves up 4 spots into second place. Haley King is in the lead by 3 strokes. Sarah Hokum is at 3rd, close behind at 7 down, and Missy Gannon and Catrina as well. Valerie and Paige Pierce was the only 2 to birdie hole 18, so congrats to y'all. Thanks so much for coming to watch round 3 of the Music City Open. I'm Leah Tsinajinnie. I'm at Leah Tsinajinnie on Instagram, and I'm with Sarah Sinclair.
I'm at Frisbee Food Fitness on Instagram.
Make sure you give Ace Run Pro a like, share, and subscribe. And check us out for round 4. It's gonna be a barn burner. Everyone's close. Thanks, everyone.